Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video, here to go over the Horizon Forbidden West full system requirements. Now, the game is coming up on its release, and Sony seems to do this whenever rolling out the system requirements. They usually drop it like 2 weeks before the actual release of the game. I wish they dropped it a little bit sooner, but you know what? I give Sony a lot of credit because with their games, they also drop not one, not two, not three, but 4 tiers of system requirements, which every other publisher that ain't be dropping 4 tiers of system requirements, take notes, because that should be the standard these days. I was talking about there needing to be more tiers of system requirements back in like 2016, and thankfully a lot more publishers are taking a look at that, having multiple tiers. Now, before we get into this video and I ramble more about it, do want to note that our good friends at Green Man Gaming, if you are an XP member, have Horizon Forbidden West a little bit discounted. It is 15% off for $51. Remember, it includes the base game as well as the Burning Shores expansion, so you're getting a lot of content for your dollar, so go check that out over there. But with that being said, let's break down the system requirements, and it looks like this game is, of course, going to be able to run on the Steam Deck. Given that this was a game that was released on the PlayStation 4, that's not all too surprising. I mean, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart ran on the Steam Deck. If Rift Apart can run on the Steam Deck, you're damn straight Horizon Forbidden West is going to be able to run on the Steam Deck. So minimum is very low settings, 720p at 30 frames per second. You're looking at an Intel Core i3-8100 or an AMD Ryzen 3 1300X. Even with that, at 720p 30 FPS, you're still going to need 16 gigabytes of RAM, and as a little bit of a spoiler, across the board, minimum recommended high, very high, all 16 gigabytes, doesn't go up to 32 or anything like that, but 16 gigs at minimum as well. NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1650 4GB or AMD Radeon RX 5500 XT 4GB as minimum GPU, 150 gigabytes solid state drive space. Yeah, if you're playing games off an HDD in the year of 2024, I don't know what to say at that point, but that is your prerogative. Do whatever the hell you want to do. Recommended, this is medium preset, 1080p, 60 frames per second, Intel Core i5-8600, AMD Ryzen 5 3600, 16 gigs of RAM, an RTX 3060, or an AMD Radeon RX 5700. So there you go with that. High settings. This is at the high preset, 1440p at 60 FPS or 4K at 30 FPS. I would imagine that this would be kind of your PlayStation 5 level of experience, given that I believe that's around the performance and graphics modes. Like if you went Forbidden West graphics mode, it's 4K 30, and then if you want performance mode, a little bit lower of a resolution at 60 FPS, you're looking at an i7 9700 or a Ryzen 7 3700X, 16 gigs of RAM, and then an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3070 or an AMD Radeon RX 6800. 150 gigabytes here as well. And then lastly, very high 4K at 60 FPS for those of you that, have FU money and you got your high-end rigs. You're looking at an Intel Core i7 11700 or Ryzen 7 5700X, 16 gigs of RAM, and then an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4080 or a Radeon RX 7900 XT. That is your breakdown, 150 gigabytes of SSD space across the board for all of those. So that is the main rundown. Now, I will go over some of the specifications from Nixes themselves and what they stated on the blog post. Hey everyone, Horizon Forbidden West Complete Edition is coming to PC soon. Last month we detailed the main PC features, and now we are getting closer to launch on March 21st. We can share the system requirements and give you more details about some of the customization options that we have added to the PC version. To ensure the game runs on a wide variety of PC hardware, including portable gaming devices, we've included graphics presets ranging from very low to very high. This allows gamers with the latest hardware to push their systems while also providing great experiences on less powerful PCs. Below, you'll find an overview of the specifications we recommend for a variety of presets available in-game. If you prefer to tweak settings and visuals to your own liking, you'll find plenty of options in the launcher of the game settings, next to individual quality settings for textures, level of detail, shadows, water, terrain, and more. You can use sliders to adjust the field of view and visual effects like motion blur and film grain. You'll also find toggles to adjust full screen effects like radial blur, lens flares, bloom, and vignette to taste. On behalf of the team at Nixxes and Guerrilla, we are excited to and looking forward to bringing Aloy's latest adventure to a new audience on PC. You can wishlist and pre-purchase the PC version of Horizon Forbidden West Complete Edition now on Steam and in the Epic Games Store. The Complete Edition includes the base game and the Burning Shores expansion, and of course you do get some pre-purchase content, and you do get some content for buying the Complete Edition as well. So there you go with that. Very excited for the release of Horizon Forbidden West, and guys, in a 2-month span, we are going to have two of the biggest PlayStation game releases of the last 5 to 7 years, really that long, and Horizon Forbidden West and Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut both drop on PC. Very excited. This is going to be a pretty crazy span of game releases, given that kicking off on March 21st, you're going to have Horizon Forbidden West, then you're going to have Dragon's Dogma 2 the day after that, and then heading into May, you're going to have Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, and I'm sure there's a bunch of other big games coming out that I can't remember right now. I know that PlayStation 5 is going to be getting Stellar Blade and Rise of Ronin, and hopefully those games make their way over to PC at some point in the near future as well. I do believe both of those will end up on PC. And hey, maybe we'll get Final Fantasy VII Rebirth at some point, and maybe we'll get Final Fantasy XVI at some point on PC as well. I just expect 2024 to be a pretty hectic year for a lot of big game releases, and it's pretty exciting. Now, Horizon Forbidden West as a game, I've been pretty vocal about my opinions. I think the game is a substantial improvement upon Zero Dawn in just about every area except for the narrative. I think Forbidden West storytelling gets kind of off the rails in the second half of the game, and really, when you do talk about a game where the fundamental design of the game is a world where you're fighting robo-dinos, like, yes, you're not talking about a very grounded storyline there. However, there's levels to this, and I feel like the direction Forbidden West takes, it's just not the direction that I would have gone. Maybe it would have been the direction I would have gone, like, game 4, 5, or 6 of Horizon, and I understand that Aloy's story is going to be like a trilogy. I imagine they're going to continue releasing Horizon games. Like, it's too much of a moneymaker at this point, and I know they're doing a Netflix series as well. Like, they're very invested into the IP, and I expect Horizon to become one of those pillar IPs for Sony, much like a God of War is, and you know, there will be times where the franchise takes a break and whatnot, much like Uncharted is doing right now, but ultimately I do think they'll eventually go back to it. But nonetheless, Forbidden West from a story standpoint just gets a little too crazy in that second half of the game, and they do set up a third game by the end of Forbidden West, which we'll see how the third game turns out, but really not a fan of where they're taking it narratively, but still from a gameplay standpoint, visual standpoint, content standpoint, it is incredibly strong in all of those areas. And again, Burning Shores is quite a good expansion as well, much like Frozen Wilds was a really solid expansion on top of that. And you're getting it with a complete edition as well. So certainly still very excited to check the game out, and it's going to be nice to have this game on PC regardless. But that is going to do it for me. Again, we got the full system specifications breakdown. You know, pretty typical as far as my expectation level. If you're trying to run the game at 4K 60, obviously going to be a little bit more of a daunting task at that resolution and that frame rate. But, you know, if you're expecting that, you probably have a pretty nice PC anyway. But for the most part, I think it's going to be a relatively tame game to run. Going to run on the deck, gonna run on the Ally, all that good stuff. That's gonna do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts, and especially with Nixxes software at the helm of this PC port, unlike the first one that wasn't handled by them, I expect a much better PC version this time around. Nixxes has been goated in terms of, you know, not every single one of their versions has been perfect, but man, looking at the standard of PC releases these days, like, Nixxes has been pretty on point with their delivery of these titles. But that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. As always, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.